Welcome to this training, you all. Today, we are going to talk about the misconceptions, huge misconceptions that I keep hearing over and over again that are stopping you from getting the work you want to do. So if you're looking for employment, so the work hired by someone, or you're looking for new clients, these three misconceptions you really want to learn. And also then I will be sharing what you can do instead. Okay, how does that sound? And welcome to the Facebook Live as well. Please do share this, whether you're watching the replay or you're in the live with your network who is looking for something new. The markets are very challenging right now, but there are a lot of possibilities. So I'm here to share what are the misconceptions, what are the three huge mistakes that I keep seeing all over again when people are looking for work, whether it is job or new client, and how can we turn that around? How can I support you to get the work that you want to do? So that's the, let's say, in the core of this training today. I would love to hear in the chat whether you are E, looking for employment, or C, looking for clients. So I can kind of like get a sense. So do pop that in the chat so I can give more examples on what is the kind of overall situation here. So before I go to the three key points that I'll be sharing today, I just want to introduce, so those of you I haven't met before, my name is Kaisa, and I'm originally from Finland, born and raised there, did my 10 plus year corporate career in business development, enhancing B2B sales through strategic brand marketing. Then I met my husband who wanted to move from US and relocated to London, which kickstarted for me to think, what do I want next in my career? Yes, thanks for sharing some Finnish there. So that whole journey, how I made the move to London, leaving my home country, leaving my permanent job, leaving the 10-year successful career that I had so far. Why did I move to London? Pivoted, studied a new field in coaching, started my own business. This was a lot of mindset work, planning, and I was overthinking a lot before I actually get some help. This is just one example what I've been through. So why am I passionate about helping other professionals define what is important for them? What do they want to pursue professionally that would support the lifestyle they want to have? This is in the core of my coaching, my guidance. I'm sharing from my experience, but also having now guided hundreds of experts, over 1,800 worldwide, to find what is meaningful for them and what will support the lifestyle they want to have and where. I have a lot of clients who are planning their moves. This doesn't need to be you. But when you're going through multiple changes at the same time, it can be very overwhelming. So how can we focus on one thing at a time? And like I shared, I changed my life and career completely and everything almost at once. So how can I help you to navigate those changes? Today, we are talking about how to get the work you want. So that will be the focus of this session today. So yes, if you can share in the chat, are you E, looking for employment, or C, looking for clients? So I can tell some examples on those as well. But let me go, and I do have some examples coming. that I thought of before. So first one of the three misconceptions. Okay, I see clients in here. Pardon me. So first of the misconceptions, the mistakes that I keep seeing over and over again is that people are telling what you do or what have you been doing. So you're focusing on the mechanics. Very often I see whether it is in your CV, in your application, whether it is your service concepts that you're offering to others. It's a lot about the doing. Okay, I see here E, R, and S. Not sure what all those are, but employment at least. um, so yes, what instead of the mechanics, the doing, what I invite you to do is to tell the value. Is it the value that the clients are getting? Is it the value that the company will be getting when they hire you? Or is it the value? What is the value if you're looking for partnerships? Anything in between. So from mechanics to value. What do I mean by this? Is that think about the last thing that you purchased. What did you buy? And I want to share an example of a service because I mostly help people who are in service, like knowledge workers who are sharing their services. So last year, I attended this leadership training, and what helped me to make the decision, the purchasing decision, was really the value. It wasn't about the mechanics of the training, how it was delivered. Of course, that I could attend remotely because I happen to live in 5 different countries during the training. But for me to do that investment, which was quite significant investment, talking about thousands of dollars, is that I was focusing on the value that I would be getting. Do you have in mind, like, what was it that you purchased last? What made you to make that decision? This is about decision making. It's about the patterns, like we are human. So now when you notice your patterns and your behavior, how does that apply when you would be talking to a potential client, potential employer? So I would say, the wrong way to do is focus on telling what you do or what you've been doing before the mechanics of things instead of the value. So focus on the value. Answer this question. What does the person or company get from working with you? I want to hear these stories. Does that make sense? Employment and or research or study PhD. Yes, well, that's a combination. Hopefully you're getting some ideas on how to pursue those avenues here. Let me go, and please put your questions in the chat if this is unclear. So from mechanics to value. Because when you're talking about the value that people are getting, they are not interested in the how you're doing it, how you're delivering it. That shouldn't be the first focus. You bring in your expertise, and probably, hopefully, you want to work with someone that trusts your judgment, trusts your expertise on how to deliver that. Okay, so from mechanics to value, let's go to the number 2. Instead of telling your, well, let me cut it. So I see a lot that people focus on the history. Well, we are moving forward. Of course, understanding the situations today, it's important to know the history. Or if you're looking for work, yes, your history will tell kind of like what you've been doing before. But instead of focusing on the tasks or titles or roles or the years of experience you have in something, I want you to focus on the impact, the accomplishments that you've been achieving so far. So rather than the history, focus on the achievements. Yes, and I have a lot of clients who are pivoting to doing something new within the field, or pivoting to a new field, or pivoting to entrepreneurship and designing new type of services. Yes, it might be difficult to see like how can this previous experience that is totally different do what I'm doing, or not totally different, but it's not exactly what you want to offer in the future. How can you communicate that? Well, I invite you to do that anyway, because it tells the other person, what have you accomplished so far? You're capable of learning, for example. If you have a degree, you can show that you're capable of research and learning and completion, for example. So what in your experience are those achievements that would support the person to notice like what you can achieve in the future as well? I'm not really interested in hearing, for example, if we take the leadership training, how many years of experience the trainers had, or how long they've been running the program, or how many have participated in the program. That was irrelevant. What really helped me to make the decision was that I heard the results that the program had given, or what they had worked in the program, in the leadership program, and 99.9% or something like that achieved their goals in the training. To me, those results, those testimonials, those concrete achievements were far more important than that the trainers, for example, had 30 to 40 years of experience in leadership training. That's impressive too, but that doesn't tell what they can do for you. Years don't really give a scope like what you can deliver, what you can help with. I want you to focus on the impact you've been making, the results that you've been creating so far. That will support people to understand what you're capable of. And again, yes, it might be something different than what you want to do in the future, but I don't want you to get too hooked up on this, because we've been talking about transferable skills for a long time already. What are those leadership skills? What are those employer skills or entrepreneur skills that you have accumulated over the years, even though it was something different? Like, like I had the corporate career within marketing and branding. Well, it sounds very different to coaching, but actually there's a lot of overlap. How can I bring those experiences and skills now to support what is my mission, to help professionals become hired, trusted, sought after experts in their field, so that they can work with more people, create what is their impactful life and career? Can you now hear what is unifying. Yes, I was doing brand marketing for a 10 million business unit, which is very different to now guiding individuals to, to start their businesses or pivot in their careers, look for those new career work opportunities. That sounds very different, but actually there's a lot that unifies. Some of these are exactly that. How can you brand your expertise? How can you be communicating about the value, your values, the impact that you want to be making, and what have you been impacting so far? Okay. So that was the number 2. So instead of the task and roles and history, I want you to focus on the impact and achievements that you have achieved so far. I see very little of this. Okay. So this can be the results, testimonials, like I shared, the testimonials and results really impacted my decision to sign up for the program, because that was so impressive. 99% achieved their goal that they that we in the training came up with and worked on. And I did achieve mine. 110%, I think, was my score. So, number 3, what is wrong is not to narrow down your options. So, instead of being broad, be specific. And I did want to share this because I have really found this challenging. I wanted to help when I started my coaching business. I wanted to help so many that I wasn't like focusing on particular field or expertise or coaching style or things like that. So when you're selling everything to everyone, you're not selling anything to anyone. And this is what I've been like talking about with my clients, with my coaches who are either building their businesses, looking for clients, or those who are also looking for employment. So in many CVs or applications, I hear that very vaguely people are telling about their history and what they have done before, instead of what is the mission, who do they want to help and how. So think about who do you want to work with? How can you answer that question? Who do you want to work with and how? Then is it employment, freelancing as a contractor, or is it running your own business online, for example, how I've been doing the past 4 years? But really emphasizing who do you want to work with, not who you can work with. I was tasked today having a session with a client who has so much experience. He started from communications, and then throughout his career, he's been offered opportunities in customer support, in financing, in sales, and various departments, and very different fields as well. So if he's thinking what he can do, he could be hired to any unit within a company. So how is that helping the recruiter to decide what they can work with? What it is that he can help with? So what we are working on with him is to figure out what it is that he wants to do next. And in his core values is the VIP customer experience, how he can help organizations to improve their customer experience. And that way, their customer relationship and the engagement with the brand. Well, how he can do that is multiple ways, whether it is then from marketing and communications to the customer support, supporting various teams. But there it is. There's the mission. So now he could be looking at those companies that really value and want to improve their customer experience. So instead of focusing on what he can do from communications, marketing, customer support, financing, blah, 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 many different things, there is the core. Can you hear the difference? If he now goes to headhunters, who are the companies who want to improve their customer experience? And how he can support with that, because he has results doing that. So instead of being broad, how can you be specific? Well, specific, that can mean in many ways. Like I said, you can focus on particular industry or the type of organizations, the type of work you want to do, the type of clients you want to work with. Who do you want to work with and how? Is the questions I want to leave you with. Okay, how does that sound? So, what was kind of wrong is to not narrow down your options. So what you can do is, instead of being broad, being very specific and communicating that. Who do you want to help and how? I invite you to have a clear mission statement. What does it sound like? Okay, I hope these were helpful for you today, whether you are joining the live or watching the replay. I would love to hear in the chat, what is the one thing that you are taking away from these 3 shares? What are the misconceptions or mistakes that people are doing all over and over again, that is stopping them from getting the work they want? I'm emphasizing the getting the work they want to do, because that was in the core. Figuring out what it is that you, instead of can do, to flipping it around what you want to do. And hopefully this will also help you to narrow it down, like I've been doing with many of my clients, because often there is more you can do, but maybe thinking about what you want to do will really help you to narrow down the focus with whom you want to work with and how. And now looking at those opportunities. Then communicating not what you've been doing or what have you done before, but instead of the mechanics, to telling the value. So put in the chat if you're focusing on this, instead of mechanics, to communicating the value you can bring. Or is it number 2 that you need to focus on? So instead of history about your tasks or roles or titles, communicating the impact, the achievements that you have achieved before. Or is it number 3, narrowing down? So instead of being broad, to being more specific. So 1, 2, 3, what is it that you want to focus on communicating, getting clear for yourself so that then you can communicate that. Let me see the chat. Need to keep my focus on the value I offer and not my past experiences. Yes, I love that. Of course, it's so easy to focus on the history and the past experiences because that's what you have. That's the proof. But you can also choose what you want to highlight from your past experiences and history. Is it the task or is it the achievements? Need to narrow down to. We're working on that. I know we are, and you're totally getting there. And with you, it's that you still have many different experts you can help. What is the one that you want to start with? Okay. Other questions related to these areas or something else? So these were, I really wanted to share with you what are the common mistakes people keep doing that can be stopping you from getting hired. Of course, these are not the truths. I'm sharing you what I'm seeing and what people can do to help them to get the work that they want to do. First of all, it is the clarity. Then it's about communicating that and how you can show that you can deliver the value that you want to promise for others. Okay. I'm going to pop in the chat. So if you feel like, oh, I want a personal plan, Kaisa, can you help me to figure out what are those three steps for me going forward? You can book a complimentary discovery session there with me. So by the end of the 30 minutes, you will have a clear 3-step plan, what to focus on to get the work that you want. Or we talked about different life changes. Of course, these might intertwine. So how one thing impacts another. So I would love to hear more about what is the impactful life and career you want to be experiencing, and how can I support you to come up with a plan forward. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's session, how you can avoid now these mistakes, misconceptions as well, what I would call them, to help you get the work that you want. Here's some comment. I don't want to focus on my past, but on what I can do for companies, research institutions, universities. Yes, yes, I hear that you kind of summarized what I was sharing. So not to focus too much on the past. Of course, then you can share the achievements you have done so far that would support people to kind of trust you. But that doesn't need to be exactly what you would be doing next. And you share a lot, like what you can do for companies, research institutes, and universities. That's still very broad. So I would choose, where do you want to focus on, or is there a unifying factor that you can help them with the same issue? What is the challenge you want to help them to solve? But headhunters want applicants past what they did and accomplished. But yeah, here, accomplished. So what was the impact? So what they did, but what was the impact? So of course you can share what were your areas of responsibility. But what I'm often not seeing is the results that you generated with your actions. So let's say from my marketing, for example, background, instead of me just like sharing that I did strategic marketing, well, that doesn't tell a whole lot. But if I share, for example, that I orchestrated through 2 brand renewals for a 10 million and a 5 million business, that gives a little bit more understanding what I did or accomplished. Or that if with my efforts, we improve the SEO by 400 something percent. I can't remember exactly, but that shows like, oh, we improve the SEO by 400%. Things like that. What are the results? Or for example, for one coaching project, the customer satisfaction was 4.8 out of 5. I would say that's pretty good. That tells more than how long I was in the project. It tells what was the impact of the project. Does it make sense? Give me some thumbs up. So yes, for your comment about the headhunters or recruiters, also clients as well. They might want to know like, okay, is this new to you? But I think it's also like important for you to share what is your mission? What is the value that you know you can provide, that you can stand by? And then what can be the achievements, the results that will kind of give some sort of proof that what you're capable of. If these achievements are very different to what you've been doing before, is like, is there some kind of elements that you can communicate? And I bet there is. You can go back and hear what I was sharing from my marketing background, and that sounding very different to coaching, but actually there was a lot that unifies. How can I help bring my experience and expertise from the brand marketing in a corporate environment to now coaching experts to get hired? I'll leave you with that. Think about what it is that you want to do, how to communicate that to whom, and get into the conversations. What is the value that you can bring? Okay. And get hired. Send me a message when you do. I would love to celebrate with you. I'll see you next week at the same time here. How can I bring more tips, strategies, methods for you? So my purpose here is to help experts to become hired, trusted, and sought after in their field so that you can support more people that you want to work with. And how does that professional career support the lifestyle that you want to have? Okay, that's it from me today. I went a little over time, but thanks for the questions and comments. And do put those in the chat as well. If you have some more questions, you're watching the replay, so I can then support you with that. So it's gonna pop this link in the chat. So if you want your 3-step plan going forward, you can book a complimentary discovery call with me. So by the end of that 30 minutes, you have a clear 3-step plan. How can I guide you? How can I advise you to come up with your personalized plan forward? So if that sounds something that would be valuable for you now, there's a few time slots there. So just book when you intend to come. So I'll look forward to meeting you. Okay, see you next week. Have a great rest of your day and go take action to get hired.